Hey Merfolk fans, I'm Joe. Thanks very much for joining me today. If you'd like to support my channel, please check out the link above to my Patreon page. I really appreciate all the support that you patrons give me. It's inspiring and motivates me to continue making these videos for you guys, so thanks very much for that. I'm here with round 2 of a modern friendly league. It looks like I lost the die roll again, as in round 1. This is a keep. They're always a little bit scary, but if I draw another island, this is pure insanity. Okay, so Seachrome Coast, I immediately think Spirits, but there's no Aether Vial, so feeling good about that. Could also be, I think, Humans. I think they might play Seachrome Coast. At least some guys might. Who else plays Seachrome Coast? All right, so Hallowed Fountain and Supreme Phantom. So Spirits it is. I feel good about this because we have the Aether Vial, but we really need to draw lands or risk being overrun. So that island means my chances of winning this game just went through the roof, given my hand. So it's going to be Lord, Lord, Lord. Opponent does not have a third land drop. They're going to get in for 2 here. Note that they have already played an island. That's a pretty cool piece of art on that card there. I don't know that I've seen this Hallowed Fountain art. That's beautiful. Like some kind of French administrative building with a gorgeous fountain in front. It's not really like a magic-y fountain either. It's just kind of a normal plaza. Pretty cool. So I'm going to go to 18 here. Really not afraid of these 2-power flyers. Because as I said, we're just going to play 2 more lords here. The lands keep flowing. Deck is showing me some love. Swinging for 4 with Island Walk. I don't think the opponent would want to block anyway. And yeah, he's at 14. We can see that I'm going to win next turn unless he has something really good. Appears that they're continuing to miss land drops. Phantasmal Image, probably copying Lord of Atlantis since it's the best card on the table. They chose to go with the inferior Supreme Phantom. I'm going to Vial in a Lord during upkeep, which is lethal on board unless the opponent has Slaughter Pact. And I drew a Merrow Reejerey. So turn 4, if Reejerey resolved, I would have exactly 30 power on the board on turn 4. So about as explosive as Merfolk can be. I've heard some people questioning whether playing not playing 1-drops. My list is currently not playing 1-drop creatures. People have wondered whether not playing 1-drops slows the deck down too much. And my response is not at all, really. We've got the Tricksters and Harbingers to slow down the opponent. And as you can see here, we're totally capable of getting turn 4 wins. I think the opponent would have taken 18, going to -4 this turn. Again, with no 1-drops. So pretty strong game 1 for us. Took advantage of the opponent's misstep, not hitting a 3rd land. And of course, having Aether Vial really helps. So yeah. Game 1 against the Tribal War. Let's go to game 2, see how that one went, show you guys my sideboarding. All right, back for game 2, checking out the sideboard. I took out all 4 Spreading Seas. These Spirits lists absolutely run plenty of islands for us to be able to cut Spreading Seas. If it's Bant, they run Breeding Pools. Both versions, Blue, White, and Bant, play Hallowed Fountains. So we're going to be able to have access to Spreading Seas. We could also just go wide with Master of Waves. So Island Walk, not an issue. Cut all 4 of those. And I think that's the only card I took out in the matchup, bringing in 4 pieces of creature interaction in 2 Dismembers and 2 Echoing Truths. So the opponent's going to be on the play this time again. I don't think I have not been on the play yet in this league because I just keep winning. Opponent kept, and this is a much less explosive hand, but it's a really nice hand to have on the draw because Harbingers get to bounce their attackers. So the opponent's out on the front foot with attackers. Again, we see no Aether Vial, which is sort of a relief for us. Mutavault, so-so. It's not a bad draw, but it's not the best draw. So without Aether Vial, I just have to pass back. Okay, so the opponent's curving into a Lord. Mausoleum Wanderer gets triggered and buffed, so it's getting in for 3. But as I was outlining, Harbinger is going to be excellent in this particular match here. So play another island. Going to bounce that Mausoleum Wanderer. Now, is bouncing with 1-drop a lot of value? It actually is, because we can't block this guy, and the opponent's going to have a stream of more spirits to trigger this guy. Just zoom in on this for a second. Whenever another spirit enters the battlefield, this guy gets +1 until the end of turn. Can you imagine if there was a Merfolk like this? If there was a Curse Catcher that got +1/+1 whenever a Merfolk entered? Like if Curse Catcher could attack for 3 on turn 2, it would be insane. I don't know why Spirits gets this kind of creature. I guess Wizards thought that it was, kind of a weak tribe. But really, Mausoleum Wanderer, really, really strong card. So yeah, bouncing it is absolutely the correct thing to do here. Playing against other aggressive decks, especially with Merfolk, which really wants to get to turns 4, 5, and 6 to develop things like Master of Waves, get our Mutavaults online. Okay, so the opponent here has to use their mana efficiently, so they choose to play out Drogskull Captain. That'll make it impossible for me to bounce Supreme Phantom, since it now has Hexproof, but he didn't get to play back out the Mausoleum Wanderer. So Harbinger, doing a good job slowing the opponent's development down. If I didn't bounce the Mausoleum Wanderer, the opponent would be attacking this turn for, I think, 5 instead of 2. So this turn, I'll play out the Mutavault, and I think you just take the opportunity to play out a Reejerey. If the opponent doesn't have a path for Reejerey, with another island in hand, we'll get to do all sorts of stuff next turn. So this is a free attack. The opponent's certainly not going to block with their 3/3 Hexproof Lord to trade with my 2-drop that I've already gotten value out of. All right, so Moorland Haunt. Opponent going straight to combat, swinging for 5. You can see that despite the opponent having 2 lords and being on the play, the race is pretty close at this point. Opponent sort of bluffs a tap here. Now they could have Collected Company up, but I'm reading, or at least I'm trying to play around Spellqueller. It's a card that can easily turn a decent game into a losing one. Drew another island, which is not really that great in this spot. But I'm thinking how to best bait a Spellqueller here. I'd really like to resolve Harbinger, bouncing Drogskull Captain, because again, the opponent has to pay 3 mana to play this guy out again. It's a huge tempo boon for us, and if they get 2 Drogskull Captains out on the board, then everything has Hexproof forever. The way things stand, I could currently attack for 8. If I played out, let's see, if I played an island, cast it successfully, cast another one successfully, I could attack for 14. But with either Coco or Spellqueller up here, I think it's better to go for the Harbinger. So I don't know if the opponent would Spellquell a Silvergill, but they certainly would, if they had the Spellqueller, go for a Master of the Pearl Trident. So I choose to lead with Master of the Pearl Trident, untapping an island. In response, the opponent goes with Spellqueller. So it wasn't Coco, it was Spellqueller, and they're going to take away the Lord, but we do get to untap this land. And at this point, I can cast Silvergill. Now, I'm not looking to attack with Mutavault here this turn because they have a really big blocker, and I don't have access to Island Walk. So, and note that Spellqueller does have Hexproof, so we're not going to be able to affect him. We're going to have to bounce the Drogskull Captain. So let's get another body out on the board with Silvergill Adept. Draw another card. Another island, but we've got gas for this turn, so I don't really have any target to tap or untap here, so I untap an island, and I'm going to bounce a Drogskull Captain. So turn went pretty much how I wanted it to. If the opponent wants to replay the Drogskull Captain, they pretty much have to take their turn off to do it, and they've done it. So at this point, it seems like they might want to leave back blockers, because my attacks are getting pretty large, but the opponent chooses to get in for 6. Seemed a little bit hasty. They might have felt obliged to do it, and they play another land, and they're going to play back out that Mausoleum Wanderer finally, 3 turns later. So I drew an Island Walk Lord, play an island. Unless they have a Dismember here, which I'm pretty sure this deck doesn't play, it's game over because I can just play the Island Walk Lord. But I'm gonna take advantage of all my all the power that I have access to here. Play out the Reejerey, I can cast the Lord and untap one of my lands to activate Mutavault, and tap down his creature that doesn't have hexproof, the Drogskull Captain. That's going to give me Island Walk, and let's see, if he has a Dismember. Well, Dismember is not really good here anyway, because he has to pay life for it, which is essentially like taking another hit from a creature, so totally overkill. And yeah, got there against Spirits on the draw in 2 consecutive games. Felt pretty good about that. You know, Merfolk gets a lot of flack for being sort of one of the worst tribal decks in Modern at this point. The issue always arises, you know, that a lot of people who play Merfolk are relatively newer players. It's a relatively inexpensive deck to get into the format with, and so that could contribute to Merfolk's poor positioning in the format. It has kind of a bad reputation, but I think it's a pretty powerful deck. I've mentioned a few times in different videos that there's no real consensus right now on what the best 75 or even what the best 60 is in Merfolk, and so there's all this sort of nebulous area for brewing and experimentation. I'm currently pushing 4 Phantasmal Images, running 16 basic islands. You know, we're trying to figure things out, but the core of Merfolk is extremely strong. And you can see we beat a really effective curve from Spirits. They had Mausoleum Wanderer into Supreme Phantom, into Drogskull Captain, into Spell Queller, but our interactive creatures did a really great job. Something that I think some people are experimenting with in order to make space for other cards like Phantasmal Image is trimming on Harbinger of the Tides. People try to rationalize this move. I think it's absolutely misguided. Harbinger of the Tides allowed us to stop playing so much main deck non-creature sort of spell interaction. So to clarify that, we used to play Vapor Snags and Dismembers in the main. Since Harbinger slows down creature decks, we're allowed to play more Merfolk and less non-creature spells, or fewer non-creature spells. So trimming back on Harbingers weakens us against creature decks, and Modern is mostly creature decks. You could try to rationalize it and say, well, there's a lot of control, and Harbinger is bad against control. Yes, but if you look at every other deck in Modern that's not blue-white control, it's Humans, it's Burn, it's Hollow One, it's Jund, it's Spirits. List just goes on and on with creature decks. So you really want to have 4 Harbingers. Obviously, Trickster is amazing. And yeah, we got there against another tribal deck that everybody seems to think is much, much better than Merfolk. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Please let me know your thoughts. And subscribe if you haven't already. And please take a moment and check out the link to my Patreon page. I'll see you guys in the next video, where I'll be back with round 3 of this Modern Friendly League. I haven't lost a game yet, currently sitting at 2-0 with double 2-0s. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.